Oh, hello, friends. Let me readjust my camera because that's what I need to do. Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the Kick-Ass Irreverent Gaming podcast from Affable Idiots. I'm one of your hosts, Adam, 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, Gumbert.
Ooh.
And today we have with us Chad. He's the superstar, Michael Ennis.
Oh, no, I broke it. Oh, I broke it.
Oh, Lord. Get the Mountain Dew
open. I broke
open.
the little tab. It's kind of like...
Wow.
It's like in the movie The New Guy when that old lady teacher or whatever grabs onto what's-his-face's boner and breaks it, and he can pee around corners. That's a deep cut.
I don't remember that part. I remember when Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock jump off of a building.
You know, it's like almost like the very beginning of the movie. He's like in the cafeteria or something like that, and he gets a boner, and he's like super embarrassed. And that old woman, like teacher lady, she's like, "What is this?" And she grabs onto it, and he like tries to like pull himself away, and accidentally breaks his penis.
Wait, did you say the new guy or the other guy?
The new guy. You're thinking of the other guy.
I said the other guys.
Yes,
absolutely not the same
no,
movie.
The new guy. That's the movie with DJ Qualls and the guy who does the Forrest Whitaker eye, and he's just like, but
I don't think I know what the new guy is.
Oh man, that's where I learned the phrase "denial's not just a river in Egypt."
Okay, looks like a movie, or sounds like a movie I need to check out.
It's not great.
It's episode 245. Don't check it out. I'll check it out. I don't care. I'll watch Uncharted, which is 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. You can watch us live on twitch.tv/AffableIdiots, normally Sunday evenings at 8:30, but it's the Super Bowl, so that's not going to happen. And YouTube podcast services, Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Upcoming on today's show, we got to talk all about that Nintendo Direct. Lots of news about Call of Duty, the new one. Is it exclusive to Xbox? All crazy things we've, I've got to scroll down. Oh, Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Oh,
some news come out as well this week.
That's going to be good. That's going to tickle my fancy.
But before we get to our main quest and opening up the show, Chad, I don't ask you often enough. How was your week?
Oh, shit. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adam. My week was pretty good. I'm going on vacation in 4 days for my birthday. Wonder what
day that is.
It's irrelevant to no one. You don't need to know that my birthday is on February 17th. But I'm going out of town, and I've got, for the last like week and a half, got hardcore senioritis at work. So I'm just like, especially just being in my own home, just like, man, what am I doing in my life? I might just like, I don't sit out on the balcony and sip a hard seltzer while I just look at birds and be terrified of them. Oh my god, speaking of being terrified of birds, yesterday I was just bopping around, singing some music, blah blah blah, about to go to Home Depot, had to measure something real quick, step out on my balcony, take one step onto it, and there are two birds. I almost stepped on a freaking bird. There are two birds sitting
just
there
on the ground,
and I just I freaked out. I stepped back, slammed the door shut, and screamed, "Get off of my porch!"
Get out of here, you damn birds!
Yeah, birds in and around my place of habitation, get out. No, I'm
shocked that they didn't fly away.
There was a bird once that got into in Chicago, a bird that got into my apartment, and it was like a freaking serial killer, just like hanging out at the end of the hallway, and I just was gagging to the point that I was gonna throw up. It was so gross, and then I trapped it in my roommate's room, and then it disappeared. And
where did it go?
And then earlier, whenever I moved in this apartment, one flew into my window and died on my workbench outside. And it took me everything that I had to drag that table. I got as far away from that bird as I could, but dragged the table over to the balcony and took the entire table over the railing and shook it so that dead bird landed on the same little patch of grass that this kid plays with a tricycle. So, birds and I don't mix. So that's my week. Yeah, a little bit of senioritis at work due to vacation for my birthday, and then a terrifying run-in with birds.
Interesting, wild. I don't ask often, but man, I should be asking.
What about you? How's your week? How's your week going?
Man, pretty good out here getting ready for the Super Bowl. Watch it was great. It was a great game. Everyone listening to the podcast, fantastic. I can't believe Joe Burrow made all those plays, and Aaron Donald was fantastic.
Speaking of good plays,
But
everyone
outside
listening to
of
this podcast too. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so
Yep.
like yesterday was like lots of good plays in the bedroom. All that sex on Valentine's.
I finally
Day.
got to what we do in the Shadow Season 3, and that the whole point of the library. He's like, "There's a lot of pornography here."
Yes, fucking ripping pages out
That's
of books.
But outside of that, really only two really words spring to mind this past week. Fett! Fett! Boba Fett!
Yes,
That was it.
I thought you were screaming.
God, when they
fat.
changed the song up at the end of it, it's like, bim, 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 Fett! I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
We're here.
Oh God.
I don't know if that spiked the thing. I'm sorry if
probably.
it spiked
Who
for you
cares?
people.
Worth
You'll
it.
be fine. Boba Fett is hype as shit. I just really wanted to set that up so I could scream Fett into the microphone. That was the main reason for all of that. And then you can clip that out, make it a TikTok, right? Where it's just me screaming, and then you put the actual music behind it as I scream Fett, Fett, Boba Fett. That'd be fun.
Done.
If anyone wants to do that, you have my audio and my video. Anyways, main quest. We're going to talk about that Nintendo Direct. That was a thing that happened when Boba Fett was living his life. So,
Everyone knows Boba Fett's opinions on that Nintendo Direct.
yep, he was out there shooting rockets from his kneecaps and watching Nintendo Directs. So, this is for multiple stories at GameStop. We're going to run down the Nintendo Direct. Remember we used to run down like a conference every week, and then you just didn't get a conference for like 3 months in a row?
Yeah, woof.
Here we are. So, we're going to start from the top. As we go through them, you tell me, we're not going to make another hyper checklist, but you tell me how excited you are for each of these announcements, because there was a decent size.
Why don't we
direct.
start with me saying just baseline blanket? If I don't say anything, assume I'm very disinterested in most of these.
Ooh,
And then
gross.
I'll say something if I'm interested.
Gotcha. Fire Emblem Warriors is back with a sequel focused specifically on Fire Emblem Three Houses. Fire Emblem Warriors is the Musou spinoff,
Right.
cut through 1 million people at once kind of game. Featuring the same locations and characters, the tactical role-playing game, but with massive warrior battle style. Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes features a different story than the previous game. It comes out June 24th.
Do you know I know one person my entire life I have ever come across who enjoys or even plays, like some people play things that they don't enjoy, or even plays a Warriors type game. Like he loved Dynasty Warriors. He was really excited for The Legend of Zelda 1 as well. But like, I don't know anybody except for that one person, but it is like an incredibly popular genre apparently that's making a ton of money, and so they're adapting all these things. Do you know anyone that plays these types of games?
I have 2 friends. When I worked at GameStop, dude I work with named Josh, dude I work with named Caleb. Both liked Warriors games. They're the only people I knew who liked Warriors games.
That's wild.
I tried. I just don't. I get really bored real quick with those games.
Yep.
But there's definitely a thing there for a certain audience. I mean, that's the best Fire Emblem game. So if they're going to keep doing it, I mean, I just don't care about Musous. I really don't care about Musous.
To be clear,
people like it.
This is like a Warriors take on Fire Emblem Three Houses. Is that what this is?
Yes, Three Houses specifically.
Okay, but it's called Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes because it's slightly different.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I believe there was already a Fire Emblem Warriors game based on fucking God knows one of those 30 games that came
Right.
out. So Warriors just, you're right, they keep making them. Zelda's had 2.
Yep.
They had just a Hyrule Warriors, and they had one based on Breath of the Wild prequel or whatever.
I think that
They've
was
had 2 of these now. Age of Calamity?
Age of Calamity, yeah.
That's what it was. So good for them. Again, I'm with you. A game that nobody likes, but apparently are good enough to keep making sequels.
Yeah.
So good for those guys. The previously announced and delayed Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp was showcased during the presentation. You'll be able to play both games classical, tactical, turn-based action beginning April 8th. April 8th for Advance Wars 1 and 2.
I don't know anything about this game, and I was doing work at the same time as watching this direct, and so I missed this trailer. But I don't know. So it doesn't do anything for me. Just the name Advance Wars is like, I never played it as a kid. I don't care about it. I don't know what it is. But it's like strategy, right? Tactical game.
Sort of. It is. So I've played Advance Wars, and there was a newer game that came out. Can you Google for me Chucklefish?
Oh, I can Google
Advanced
Chucklefish.
Wars. They made a game recently. You're going to tell me in a second, which was very similar. So it is sort of like a tactical strategy game, except for Advanced Wars, it's like tanks and shit. But What did you get anything? When you talking Chucklefish?
Oh, I remember hearing about Wargroove a lot. Yeah,
Wargroove was very good, which was basically the same thing, but like set in the past.
Okay.
You know, knights and shit. So I'm, you know, we'll see. I hope the re-release is good because they're interesting games that have been ignored by Nintendo for like 25 years.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. For
and
people to see.
It's a first-party Nintendo game, right?
I believe. Yeah, I believe Advance Wars was made by Nintendo originally.
Look it up. Let's go.
Hit that Google machine, which is weird. Yeah, that's one they completely ignored and were like, this doesn't exist anymore. Which is unfortunate because people really liked it. That's why we got games like Wargroove, because people
published
were
by
making
Nintendo. Yeah,
it is a Nintendo game. Thought so. All right, April 8th for those nerds who want to play that. No Man's Sky is finally coming to Nintendo Switch. No Man's Ski. Though it appears to have taken a small graphical hit to make the jump, the science fiction adventure will be coming to Nintendo Switch in the summer. So, No Man's Sky is officially on every available console. I personally really, really like No Man's Sky. I didn't play it at launch. I waited for them to do a bunch of updates and shit.
Yeah.
And I have a really good time with it. I think it's like, it is, again, it's the perfect example of like, if you launch a game that isn't good, but you keep up with it and your community is accepting of you, that game is completely turned around for when it launched. And more people get to play it now on Switch. So
I'm just a little confused.
They literally have a mode.
Oh, sorry, keep going.
No, they have a mode. The last update, I think, was called Frontiers, where it's like, oh, hey, there's a space town. Go do your stuff in a space town. And it's just like, oh, this is just Mos Eisley, which is cool. Mos Eisley's in the game now if you go to different planets.
I'm a little confused that, like, I think a small graphical hit is an understatement. Like, this thing,
that's what the story said.
It was like it was a pretty big graphical hit. It does not look anywhere near as good as it does on the next gen systems, obviously. But what was weird to me is that this is a game that I feel like could use. I don't know if this needs a constant online connection, but I'm confused why it didn't why this is not a cloud version game. You know, Kingdom Hearts, the entire series is coming to Nintendo Switch, but it's all streamed through the cloud. Because I guess Kingdom Hearts, it came out on a 3DS, or the PS2 can't run on a Switch natively. But like, why does Kingdom Hearts get a cloud version of all these games, but No Man's Sky, which seems like it's like the perfect candidate for a cloud, is procedurally generated. It needs a whole lot of processing power, all that kind of stuff. Why is that not a cloud version of a game in order to make it at least look better on Switch, or even close to what the PS4 version looked like?
Here's what I will tell you, which I don't know if this answers your question at all, but the next gen version, so I have the Series X version of it. Again, 4K, great frame rate, all that stuff. That entire game is like 12 gigabytes. That's entire video game.
Because it's all like procedurally generated. There's no assets. There's like very few assets, but
yeah, like they had a computer build out the planets, and then it's like I still don't understand how that game is 12 gigs with how big the universe is, even if it's not highly super detailed. So yeah, maybe they were like, we don't need to do a cloud version, especially because you have to, well, you have to be online, but playing online is like a big part of it. So I don't know, maybe they're like, I guess it's small enough they could fit it onto a cartridge or onto the actual hardware, because all the Kingdom Hearts games would probably be like bigger than what you can put on an SD card to put on the Switch if you actually put all of them there. So I don't know if that's the difference. I'm just conjecture. I don't know,
because like,
No Man's Sky is surprisingly small.
Kingdom Hearts, man, it was a DVD which holds what, 4.7 gigabytes worth of information. Like, why can't they just make those 3 standalone download? I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, because like Kingdom Hearts 3 was like a PS4 game, right? Like that's not the 4 point whatever gigabytes. Yeah, it's the newer ones on there too, and it's the remasters, I believe.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 is 37.4 gigabytes.
Yeah, I guess. We'll see. Maybe Mickey just refuses to be on a cartridge. Super Mario Strikers, Nintendo soccer game, originally came out on GameCube and Wii, is back on Switch. Super Mario Strikers Battle League. Mario is battling in soccer. The 5 versus 5 game puts a high emphasis on offense with tackles, items, and special shots to make things quite a bit more frenetic than standard soccer. It's out on June 10th. So this one, people were like, oh shit, it'd be crazy if they did a Super Mario Strikers World Cup or something like that. And it's like, hey, Super Mario Strikers, I think this is a big one. I think this is like a 10 out of 10
I think was maybe my most, I'm scrolling through everything else just in case. I think this was my most exciting thing that came out of this. Yeah. I loved my only Strikers game that I played was Super Mario Strikers Charged on the Wii, and I played the shit out of that in college. That was fun. Yeah. So I think this is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to get. I will wait until I have an excuse to play this with friends to buy it, because I'm not gonna buy this game for $60 and then play it by myself. Like, this is like Mario Kart. I'm not gonna sit around and just drive around courses and get first place all the time by myself. I'm gonna wait until I have like a bunch of friends over, or like go on vacation for my birthday on February 17th. Things like that. But I'm excited for this game, and it looks fun. That 5 versus 5, I think, is also like a super. Obviously, you couldn't have done that with the Wii, just because of the controller limitations and all that kind of stuff. So that looks really, really fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, this one's really cool. And then also, I saw the twit and the tweeter. The tweeter was going around showing that Waluigi did a crotch chop back on, I think, the Wii or the GameCube version, like the Triple H Shawn Michaels, like,
yep,
suck
like
it, that thing.
Yep.
I was like, oh, Waluigi, like, please put this in the new game, because that seems like a thing Waluigi would do, because he's definitely a sex offender. So makes plenty of sense.
There is a YouTube.
Right.
I love the internet, and I hate the internet so much. Yeah, there is a 10-minute supercut, like, looped video of Waluigi crotch chopping on YouTube from Strikers Charged.
That's great. I love that. Thanks.
Someone
God
also
bless you.
remixed This Is Sparta with him crotch chopping as well.
Makes so much sense, right?
Wonderful.
My favorite YouTube compilation dumb video was the confrontation between Anakin and Obi-Wan in episode 3, where like he gets off the ship and they're like talking to each other, but they replaced Anakin with Shrek. But it wasn't good. Like, it was like they tried to like when you cut around things, like when you're in Photoshop and you try to cut around it, but like some of the colors on the edges are weird. They did that with Shrek and put him where Anakin was. It was like, this is bad, but I watched the entire thing. I watched the whole 5-minute video. It was great. All right, we get another look at Splatoon 3 with the PvE mode Salmon Run. Is it Salmon or Solomon?
Solomon, King Solomon.
King Solomon Run. Next wave on display as Inklings battled a Salmonoid boss. Splatoon 3 will be out this summer for Nintendo Switch. More stuff on Splatoon 3. You know, people get excited about that video game and your King Solomon's.
Yeah, this is another one that I'm disinterested in. Not my game. I tried Splatoon 2 several times. Once at a Best Buy kiosk. Not a fan. One time Holden made me sit down and play some online matches against some people in his basement. And then one time we played it for a game night, and I was just like, man, this is just like not fun for me. So
yeah,
I'm glad people like it. Glad they're excited for it. I won't be playing it.
Very much. All right. Portal Companion Collection will be available for Nintendo Switch later this year. No date was announced. So Portal 1 and 2 on Switch. Fantastic games. Awesome. People should check that out if you haven't played those games before, because they are super good.
I want to play that game. Here's the thing. Portal, I've played a little bit of both Portal 1 and Portal 2. But if you're a longtime listener to the show, you know that I do not like puzzle games. No. I want to sit down with someone who knows all the answers to all the Portal puzzles, and I want to experience that, because like it's a funny game. Like, I laugh a lot while I play that game, and I just want to experience it all. But I also don't want to have to hurt my brain. So when that comes to Switch, or maybe it's probably like $3 on any other console, someone wants to play that with me and guide me through
I'd probably get that on Steam right now for $2.
Yeah.
I would be shocked.
Yeah.
Maybe you should. So the first game, I think, is like 4 or 5 hours. So you could probably just like watch a Let's Play on YouTube and have all the jokes and have somebody do the math for you.
Yeah.
It's possible. Yeah. All right. Oh, and J.K. Simmons is in the second one, so that's pretty cool. Nintendo Switch Sports. It's a new game, just like Wii Sports, but Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Comes with it. What is this first sport? What is the fuck is Chambara?
Chambara? I don't know.
I'm just reading the thing. I didn't get to watch all the direct. I only watched the trailers I cared about. But Nintendo Switch Sports comes with Chambara, I think, tennis, and bowling game, along with soccer, badminton, and volleyball. It also includes a leg strap accessory, like Ring Fit Adventure for shootout mode, letting you physically kick the ball to score. It's out April 29th, and a free update this fall will add golf to the game. So, new Nintendo Sports. What is Chambara?
So I just Googled the word Chambara, and a samurai game showed up. And then I Googled Chambara Sport, and a bunch of middle schoolers in gis with foam swords. So some kind of like martial art with swords, I think. That's very popular among young teenage kids.
Awesome. You can sword fight on your Switch.
Yep.
Have a good time.
Yep.
This is actually, I don't know how to feel about this one because, of course, Wii Sports was the biggest thing in the world.
Right.
That game alone helped sell 100 million
that was,
Wiis,
for a lot of people, the only game that people had on their Wii. A bunch of moms and grandmas.
I never played Sports Resort. Yeah.
Yep.
So I didn't continue the franchise. So I don't know if these games are still fun or whatever, but it seems like a good idea because, again, the first one was a big deal. But Sports Resort was like, hey, buy the Motion Plus. And I was like, I don't need to play the game that bad.
Right, exactly.
So I never played it.
That's where I was, too. I never ended up getting the Motion Plus attachment for any of my shit. I was done with the Wii by the time that came out. But this is one that I'm just like, $60 for real? Like, this is essentially the same game that you released for free on the Wii 15 years ago. And you're asking for $60 now because, I don't know, the Miis look better. First of all, thank God Miis are dead. Those things are ugly and dated, and I'm glad that they're just like in the trash can. And they're replaced by whatever these new things are. I don't know if they're customizable or anything like that, or whether you just like choose I don't know. But I'm glad that's part of it. But yeah, $60, man. It's a tall order for what essentially just looks like a prettier, same exact game that we've already played 15 years ago for free.
We'll see. Again, maybe it's a fun party thing, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. This one was a pretty big one.
Yeah.
For me, the hype isn't big, but I know for literally everybody else, the hype would be giant. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is getting even bigger. Nintendo is remastering select courses from across the series' history as paid DLC. The Booster Course Pass features 6 waves of 8 courses each by the end of 2023, so 48 new tracks in total. N64's Choco Mountain and mobile Tokyo Blur will be included in the first wave on March 18th, and the pass costs $25. If you have Nintendo Switch expansion pass, it comes for free. So, a couple of things here. Of course, it's really cool to see 48 more tracks. That's a lot.
Yeah.
They're also like, fuck Mario Kart 9. just buy these. But also, when Nintendo Switch Plus was like, oh, hey, play Genesis and N64 games, and then you get Animal Crossing. We're like, what if I don't play Animal Crossing and I don't give a fuck about N64? Now they're like, oh, hey, the most popular game on Switch ever, here's 48 more things included. So I like to see that they're continuing to give you free stuff if you choose to pay the extra money instead of, because if it was just Animal Crossing, it's like, what about a year later? But now we're seeing they're like, oh, anytime they come out with the DLC, it seems to be getting included into the expansion pass, which I think it's a pretty good deal. At this point, if you like those old games, you have Animal Crossing and Mario Kart, which again, 2 of the best selling games on Switch. I feel like you're getting your money's worth right there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, I think I saw somewhere that this is now, after this expansion pass or the Booster Course Pass is done, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will have over half of the courses ever created in this one game, which is like, that's the Smash Bros, basically the Smash Bros Ultimate of Mario Kart, where it's like, this is the definitive thing. Everything you ever wanted is now going to be in this one game. And before this announcement, I was one of the people who was like, yeah, I want Mario Kart 9. I want like a new roster of characters and new courses and things like that. But now I'm just like, you know what though? I never played any of those mobile ones. And there are a lot of Mario Kart games that I never played. Like I never played Double Dash. I never played most of the 3DS or the DS series ones. Like I would love to go back and play these things. But again, I run in that same Mario Kart thing where I never play it by myself because I'm too good at it, and just like being in first place all the time with just only getting green shells and bananas, like it's not fun. But whenever I do, like if there's ever an excuse to play with friends, or you ever do that thing where you're swiping through Bumble and it's like every single girl is like, I love hiking. I love hiking and wine. And then if they mention video games, it's always, but I'm also really competitive at Mario Kart. And then they do that little XD face. Ah! So, like, that's another good excuse to have Mario Kart around for those girls who love hiking and wine and Mario Kart. So
you could do one of the things.
Yeah. So this is a great excuse to be like, hey, girl, what's up? I got 48 new courses coming in the next 2 years. you want to stick around for 2 years with me? Because I'm mooching off of Holden's family pass, and I have.
You don't have to mention that part.
So, yeah. And again, like you mentioned, I'm glad that they're giving more value to the expansion pass because, again, the N64 emulator apparently is still fucked. And, like, they've improved it a little bit, but the lag is terrible, and it's still awful. And, again, if you don't like Animal Crossing, then that's a steep price to ask you to pay. So now, to have this, although it is like 8 courses every once in a while for 2 years. So it's not like, oh, man, I unlock 48 courses right now for the price of my monthly subscription. It's like, no, man, that's an investment. But it's dope. And I'll probably play it. I play Mario Kart maybe 45 minutes a year. So I'll play through each of these things once against some friends, and that'll be what I get out of it.
Yeah. And if it's only one time a year, you get on there like, oh, now there's 24 new courses they just slowly added over the year.
Right.
Look at that. That'll be cool. All right. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 game releases in September. There wasn't a lot of info because it was just like a really short trailer where it's like, oh, there's a dragon, there's a lady that's evil.
This is the first time we've heard of this game, right?
I believe so,
yeah, I think so too. Everything else has always been like a re-release or a remaster or something.
So have fun with your Xenoblade. I was never got into the series, but I love Shulk and Smash Brothers. I'm really feeling it. Oh, man.
The only reason to play the Shulk and Smash Brothers is to be naked. That's it.
Yeah. Shirtless Shulk.
If you play as Shulk and you're not naked in that game, then you obviously don't understand video games.
Yeah. Get on Bumble and talk about hikes.
Exactly.
Metroid Dread will receive a free update that adds 2 new difficulty modes for all players. First new difficulty, called Dread Mode, brings higher stakes to the game with a one-hit kill element that can upend Samus's valiant efforts in a flash. So super hard mode. And then on the flip side, there's Rookie Mode, which is meant to be an introduction for new players, aka easy as hell. So super hard, easy as hell, free update. And then there's also an update, I think, coming next month that it has some kind of boss rush mode or something like that.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm glad Rookie Mode is in this because that was a challenging game, like a really tough Metroid game, but it's fantastic. So the more people that can experience it, the better. Second, I feel like this should have just called Dread Mode Holden Mode because I feel like he wrote Nintendo directly and said, hey, I've played through this game 16 times in the first like week of release or something wild like that. So I need another challenge, and you don't have hearts in this game, and so I can't do a 3-heart challenge. Yeah, so he was excited about that. We were texting back and forth during the direct, but that seems just completely wild to me. You want a one-hit kill for every single thing? Some of those bosses are just like it's insane, the number of things that are on the screen that can kill you in that game. Wild. Especially the final boss. Oh my god.
Yeah, but I said people do the no-hit runs on Dark Souls. It's like, oh, you played that entire game for 15 hours and you get hit once? All right.
But I mean, that's like the no-hit runs that's one person every I don't know how many months, and they get big headlines because this person beat Dark Souls 3 without taking a single hit. But this is like an entire mode. Like they devoted I guess you don't have to do much to just say, hey, everything that hurts you kills you. But like they put an entire mode in the game just for that. Like it's going to be something widespread or something.
Yeah, the options there. That's pretty cool, especially for free. Disney and Pixar announced Disney Speedstorm, an upcoming kart racer that incorporates characters from both companies' histories. Speedstorm will be free-to-play combat racer. The game will feature split screen and online multiplayer, as well as cross-play support.
Dope. It's going to be real popular with a certain audience, but not me.
Now, I remember a couple months ago, I think it was a Sony thing, when they announced a kart racer. It's like, this looks solid and good, but it was generic. It didn't have any license to it. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. And then Disney one, again, probably still won't play it, but I'm like, I'm much more interested in the one that has Disney characters than the one that has nothing.
Exactly.
So, good idea. Smart on them. And crossplay is always good. Star Wars Force Unleashed is coming to Nintendo Switch. Released on April 20th, 420. Blaze it. From developer. Oh, look, it's Aspyr again.
Oh, man. Aspyr, your favorite developer that you're so excited about and have so much trust in.
Yeah. Number 7 will surprise you. This is the Wii version of the game as well.
Looks like
which is the worst version of the game.
Yep.
So good job, Aspire, on porting the worst version of the game.
Yeah.
And again, this is a 360 PS3 Wii game. You could have ported the other ones, but they decided to port the Wii one to Switch.
And this game looks ugly. Ugly.
Bad. Good job, Aspire. Keep doing good work over there. I trust you with a AAA video game. Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings, first released as Mother in Japan, are coming to Nintendo Switch and will be available for Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass subscribers. Now, this is cool. I played this game before. You know, I'm not over doing backflips for it like some people. They're like, it's the greatest thing ever. But I did like the game a lot. And now that it's on Switch, it's like, oh yeah, put a classic RPG on Switch for free.
Yeah. We played this as a barf game a few years ago on 3DS. The first one, Earthbound. The second one, which is technically Earthbound. And I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really cool. Holden did some stupid thing where, like, towards the end of the game, he accidentally erased his save file or something like that, so he never finished it. But they said Earthbound Beginnings. Like, what the hell is Earthbound Beginnings? I had to look it up, and I was like, oh, that's right. I forgot Earthbound was Mother 2, and that we never saw the first one. So that's cool. That's coming out. Apparently, it was available on the Wii U eShop before, or Virtual Console.
I think that's how I played it, was on Wii U.
Yeah. That's the thing to me.
So,
everyone was like, oh my God, this is coming to Switch. This is awesome. And it's like, this has been available on Virtual Console on like everything for the last 15 years. So like it's cool that it's also coming to Switch now, but it like doesn't blow my mind. Doesn't blow my mind.
I was going to say something sexual. I was assuming like doesn't blow my wad or my socks off.
There's some kind of
or
analogy
something.
that people say about like blowing your skirt up or blowing my tits off. That's
Socks
what it was.
off.
Blow my tits off.
Oh, tits off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a lot of wind. Now, I don't know how this is pronounced, but
Live
I know
Alive.
that Jared Petty, it's Live Alive?
Yes.
All right, so 1994's Live Alive is getting a remake. RPG scheduled launched on July 22nd. Now, I only saw two people excited about this. Jared Petty, who is a fantastic man who's done a lot of stuff in the video game industry. He's a dude from... He's a former pastor from like South Carolina who loves old video games. He's like, oh, I'm so excited about Live Alive. And I think like Per Schneider was like, oh, this is a cool game no one's ever played that's fun. So apparently it's a cool game that no one's ever played that people like.
Yeah.
So,
When they first started it looks like it's running in basically that same 2D HD engine that Octopath Traveler kind of created. So it has that same kind of art style to it. And when they first started showing it, I was like, oh, is this the Dragon Warrior 3 remake that we've been hearing about in that same engine? And then I was like, oh, fuck, no, I don't give a shit about this game. It's not that. And whatever Live Alive is. And then the more that trailer went on, I was like, oh, this actually looks dope. I'm kind of really into this. So, yeah, it's a cool JRPG that we never got to see here in the United States. So I'm kind of pumped to play this. It looks cool.
I'm just happy if Jared Petty is happy. What a... You ever seen or heard stuff with Jared Petty?
Oh, yeah,
on
I
it?
used to listen to when he was on Kind of Funny all the time. He used to get so
great
freaking
guy.
excited about
Oh,
old
I'm so
shit.
excited about this Japanese arcade game. I'm not making fun of him. I legitimately love that. man.
I bought the PS1 classics for Suikoden and Suikoden 2 just because he just went on a rant about Suikoden 2 for like 20 minutes one episode. It's like, all right, I'll download it, but I never played it.
Yeah, well, I believe I know about that. I've got games in my Steam library I've never downloaded. So this was my personal favorite one, and not for the reason you think. Ooh.
Whoa.
Where are they now? Well, number 5 will surprise you. We've got a new look at some of the pink squishball Kirby's new powers in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. The new gameplay trailer revealed all the new forms Kirby could take on by absorbing random objects around the environment, like traffic cones and entire cars, giving Kirby different powers from his normal enemy copy abilities. Now, the great thing about this is we have the trailer. He's chasing down some Waddle Dees or whatever, and he's in the fucking post-apocalypse, and he starts sucking. They're like, oh no. And then he keeps sucking, and then a car goes in his mouth, and his entire body goes over the car. His entire huge body goes over the car, and then they go like introducing mouth mode.
Mouthful mode.
Like, what?
Mouthful mode.
Mouthful mode. I'm like,
Yes.
what the fuck is
Mouthful
Nintendo
of
doing?
these nuts.
This is great. Mouthful mode. And then the memes from it have been great. I remember there was a Destiny one where it's like Kirby's entire body over the Traveler. It's like, no, Kirby, that's the Traveler.
The best one I've seen, I think you
God.
retweeted it, was the alien one, where he's right
Yeah.
next to Ripley, and he's just like, the drool coming out of his mouth.
Mouthful mode. Did they knew? Like, that's not a translation error. Like, they knew.
They
what was
knew
going
exactly
on.
what they were doing. Yep.
I'm pretty sure Mouthful Mode is a Megan Thee Stallion song, but I guess we can we can look past that. So yeah, that was basically everything in the direct. How do you feel about, you know?
I felt like while I was watching it, I was really disappointed. And there are so many things in here. Again, just like most digital events, there are things for some people, things for others. I felt like this was one that mostly nothing was in it for me personally. Like I got excited for Strikers Charge or Strikers Battle League, and that's about it. Yeah, I guess the Mario Kart tracks that I'll play for 45 minutes a year. So like there were a couple of things, but I felt like overall this was just the theme of this one is all your favorite games, or not even your favorite, a bunch of old games are finally coming to Nintendo Switch so that we have parity with some other like last gen consoles, but they still look bad. And I felt like that was the theme for most of this Nintendo Direct. Is they're just as ugly as ever before, just as ugly as you remember, but now on Switch. With the exception of a couple of things like Live Alive. So didn't really excite me at all, but I know that there are some things in there. Like people are freaking out about Advance Wars. People, as we mentioned, loving the Warriors game, the Fire Emblem Warriors. Force Unleashed, I guess, if you want to play that game in the worst way that you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was
blow my tits off.
Yeah, your tits are still there. Yeah, it was half like here's ports of old things which are either hit or miss. But then, I mean, there was new stuff like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, you know, and like we said, Mario Strikers. So I think that it was like, oh, think of a compliment sandwich, right? We've got really good sourdough bread. That's really good sourdough bread, which are like the new games where it's like, oh, Xenoblade, and here's a bunch of stuff for Mario Kart, and here's Strikers and stuff. And then in the middle, it's not even like bad things. It's just like, oh, it's just like American cheese and bologna, which is like fine, but like I want an artisan sandwich. So I think it was good. Like the bread, like the sandwich will be fine. But I'm with you. Like they gave us enough big things, but it's like we didn't need all the little stuff too. I think that kind of, to make it 40 minutes and include a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter, like a bad port of an old Star Wars game. Yeah, you could have left that out and made it shorter.
Yeah,
and it probably would have been better. But whatever. I think overall it's pretty solid. I thought there's pretty good announcements in here, but just a little bit of padding. What I did enjoy about it is that it was all stuff, and they marketed it this way before it came out too, is that it's all stuff that's coming in the first half of this year. So to be able to see that and be like, oh, I can play that in a few weeks. I can play that later today, or if it's Earthbound, that kind of stuff. Like, that's cool. I enjoy that. And then in the middle of the year, you'll get something for everything in the back half. They were like, hey, it's the first half of the year, so don't bother us about Legend of Zelda, because we're not talking about it. Yeah. So that E3 time, again, I don't know, E3 is a thing, but that mid-year one will probably have another really cool thing. That's probably going to see a Bayonetta and, you know, all these games that are supposed to come out this year. Metroid Prime Trilogy. Metroid Prime 4. Some rumors say that game's actually done, which I think is not true. But anyways, what about some playtime? Got you for 3 minutes. Choo choo pew pew choo. I love how you are copying me. Yeah, making it a mystery. And just putting initials to things instead of just saying what you're playing, which is the thing I guess I started. But here we are. So Chad, tell me what FN is. I assume is the same FN that you have on your list. Probably not. Fortnite, Adam. Yep, same one. Yeah. I've played, I don't know, maybe 5-6 hours of Fortnite this week. We enjoy playing games together, the Raft Pack and myself, and Brent, good old Brent, is just like nonstop Fortnite machine. And so we finally said, let's stop playing Extraction, let's stop playing Warzone, and let's include him for once. And so yeah, we played Fortnite, and we getting crowns on crowns on crowns. I got the little emote where it has a crown on the pillow and number 3 above it because we got 3 crowns in a row. Oh, yeah, we're good. Nice. I've only got 2, but we are playing a lot of bots. And we come across maybe like 6 or 7 real people in any given match, and the rest are all bots. And it's just like that's a bad. And we're like, I've started at level 0 obviously because I don't play this game, and now I'm at like level 24 or something like that. And we're good. Obviously, we're getting crowns on crowns on crowns, but like I don't know what it is. They keep pairing us up with bots. There's always bots in every match. I think it just depends on your level. There's probably less because like I've been playing with my son. We've been playing duos. And we'll get through, and it'll be, by the time you're in like the top 20 people, so, you know, like about 10 teams or something like that, those are all real people, absolutely. But getting to the halfway point, it's like that's where the bots basically go out at. From what I could do, because we did good, and then some kids started building crazy. I'm like, that's a real person. Well, we're about to lose. So
I'm having a good time. I'm not gonna put money into it, even though they just released the Uncharted pack. And they have like Tom Holland Uncharted, which I don't care about, but like the actual Nathan Drake Uncharted, it's like, oh man, maybe no, I won't. I won't put money into this game.
You should. Maybe you should.
No. Although it is really cool to see like Matt playing as the Xenomorph, doing his little emote in the Warthog. Like that's dope stuff.
Doing that silly shit.
Yep.
Because guess what I just did?
What?
I was playing it. I've been buying all the things that came out because they just released Black Chrysanthemum.
Right.
And they released Fennec Shand. And then I bought Fett! And it was, I had all those guys and I was running around as Fett! Shooting people, and then I don't know. Every time they put it out a Star Wars or Marvel one, I basically buy it just because that's what I'm going to do.
You know what I don't appreciate? I don't appreciate that, like The Rock. Like, I want to play as The Rock, but I don't want to, like, do all the shit on the Battle Pass and a bunch of freaking, like, just let me pay $3 for him or whatever the hell. What does it cost? A skin costs like $7, $8? I don't know.
Something like that. I don't know. I just buy. I actually do have The Rock. Again, specifically for Brent, I've unlocked where you take his helmet off. Because I just want to see The Rock.
Right.
So if I ever
no
use
one
that
wants
character,
to play as like bleep bloop robot face, whatever he is.
I want The Rock's
They wanted
face.
to look at The Rock's face. Like that's why he's in the game. Is because it's The Rock's face. No one cares if he sounds like The Rock when he grunts as he swings his hammer or whatever he has.
Mm-hmm. I did that just for Brent. But yeah, I've also been playing Fortnite, having fun with the kid. Good time. What's your second one though?
This one I had a very bad time with, but it's I feel like I was just like in a grumpy mood. Forza Horizon 5 on Xbox Series X. I basically rage quit with the excuse that like my friend's coming over to watch Peacemaker, but I use that as an excuse to rage quit. It's a beautiful game, absolutely stunningly beautiful game, just like wasted on this racing game. So we were like, hey, who wants to play something? And Matt's like, let's play Forza Horizon. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll play that. I haven't played it yet. And so we all jump on. It's me, Matt, and Dallas, and they've put a bunch of time into this game already. So they're already partied up, and I join on a little bit late. I'm excited to play. And then it gets to that thing where it's like, oh, you can't play with your friends yet. You have to play through these like 30 minutes of story missions. It's like, ah. So already I was starting bummed out because like, I don't give a crap about anything in the series so far. So this is my first experience with the Forza game in general. So I'm like, I just want to play with my friends. And this is like an online game. Like that's the point of this game. Why are you gating that behind 30 minutes of just generic driving around from here to there just to show me pretty settings and cool cars? So I was already just like listening to them having fun doing missions together while I was going through this shitty story content, and I was like feeling bummed and left out and huge FOMO. And then by the time I finally did get to the point where I could join them, the first thing we did was a race with a bunch of people, like online people, and I didn't know, since this was the first race that I guess I had done, I didn't realize there were checkpoints. And the checkpoints don't show up for like the first 20% of the race, and then suddenly there are checkpoints. And so I'm doing pretty good. I'm in the middle of the pack, and then I was off-roading a little bit to try to cut ahead of people, and then it says, you missed a checkpoint. I was like, what are you fucking talking about, checkpoints? There are no checkpoints in this thing. And then it just warps me backwards on the map, and I'm dead stopped, and I have to start again. I was like, God, this sucks.
You didn't notice the giant flags that were like giant green and yellow flags?
Again, I was off-roading. So I wasn't looking at the flags or near the flags. I was off-roading to cut ahead of people. And so I was like, damn it. Okay. So now I know there are checkpoints at least. And this is, so I understand this. But the problem is I had written off that race. I was like, fine, that race is, I'm not going to win it. I'm not going to come back and I'm going to be in dead last. I get that. But I'll catch up on the next one. Now that I know that checkpoints are a thing, I'm not going to be warped backwards, 30 seconds worth of progress. But then we play another race and it's just the three of us. And it's like a street race, and it just says, hey, pick your car. And Matt had like I guess not told us what kind of race we were doing, and I was like, I don't know, I'll randomly pick this Jeep, and he chose like a sports car. In Dallas, I don't remember what he chose, and it turns out that like the fucking Jeep I chose has a top speed of like 4 miles an hour, and and this race was like 8 minutes long. It was the longest race of all time, and again, I missed one checkpoint. And I spun out trying to get it, and this Jeep has the acceleration of a fucking turtle. And so the problem that I had with this game was not only did I go into it in a bad mood because I was listening to them having fun while I had to play story content, but then I didn't understand the checkpoint thing. But then my car fucking sucked, and I had to live with it for 8 minutes while we did this race. But the problem I have is that it was just so isolating. You know, in Mario Kart, when you're in last place, they give you shit like Bullet Bill or a star or stuff to like catch you up so that you're still having fun. But no, it was just literally me driving by myself in the middle of the woods. They're up there like going back and forth, passing each other. Oh shit, I spun out. Oh no, you passed me. And I'm just like, I'm just back here going slow as fuck by myself for the next 8 minutes for the rest of this fucking race. And then they're like, oh, we've got 20% left. And I'm just like at 50% of the race. I'm like, God damn. So yeah, I had a very bad time. And then at the end of that race, I was like, this game fucking sucks. I'm going to go watch Peacemaker. Bye. And then just got off.
Good Lord. I think that kind of sets you up for failure, if I'm being honest, by letting you pick a Jeep in a streetcar race.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
That's
very
funny.
bad experience for me, but
Bad experience. Yep.
not my game. What's AL? Alabama? You played Alabama this week?
Yeah, I got a scholarship. Nick Saban came down and signed me on signing day, so I will be attending University of Alabama, hopefully to win some championships and head to the NFL. Trying to be a first-round pick. It's the dream. We'll see what happens.
Dope. Nice, dude.
Very nice. Could you imagine a 30-year-old fucking getting a scholarship to play college football? What an insane. I mean, I guess I've seen Waterboy, but it's kind of insane.
Isn't that movie with the guy who plays Shazam in it? Isn't that basically what that is?
The guy who plays okay, that's Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. That's a movie about Kurt. Well, I mean, sort of. So he played football, and then he's working at a grocery store, and then they were like, "You used to play football, so can you come try out for the team?" And he ended up being a Hall of Fame quarterback. Funny thing about that movie. So I go on my Wikipedia holes, right? I was like, I was looking at that movie. I was like, oh, that's right, that movie's out. I saw it for it on Amazon or whatever. And then I looked at the directors. And I'm like, oh my God, this is one of those movies. So there's a team of brothers. Their name doesn't matter. They only make Christian movies. Like they're Christian dudes, and all their movies are that. And that is one of their movies. I was like, fuck. So at some point in the movie, Kurt Warner's like, the only reason I made it to the NFL is because of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And I was like, oh my God, I hate these dudes. But then I looked through their discography, and it's just like, it's so weird because it's like, oh, we're making.
Did they make the movie about the kid who fell in the ice and Jesus brought him back to life and the whole town?
I was looking for it. They didn't make that one. It was another Christian dude. And I was like, I guarantee they made the ice movie.
Those are my favorite movies. I've never seen any of them, but I love the trailers. They're so funny.
They're so, and it's so funny. It's like, who are you preaching? It's like, you're literally making movies for Christians about how good Christianity is. I'm like, who are you winning over here? Like, everyone in the audience is like, yeah, you're right. You're so right. It's like, yeah, because it fucking, what are you talking about? They made a movie about a girl who survived an abortion or whatever. It was, so what it really was is like some teenager was pregnant. She was like 16 years old, and like someone was going to give her a late term abortion or whatever. But then the movie's about like the girl survives and she has like cerebral palsy or whatever it is, and the whole movie is a revenge quest. Like the daughter wants to go meet her biological mother, and like they shame her, and like the biological mother is a villain of the movie, and it's a revenge tale. But and she's like, I'll forgive you because you're Jesus Christ. But it's like, she was a child who was pregnant. Like, how is she the bad guy in this? They're like, no, she can't have an abortion. That's against the Lord. But I'll forgive you because the Lord is my savior. But you're an evil person. It's like, what the fuck is this movie? They're, and then they made movies about Christian singers. Oh my God, this is the best. I'll stop here because this is ridiculous. I think it was their best performing movie, which it's got like $90 million or 100. It actually did pretty good. So it's a movie about, I think it's I Can Only Imagine, which is a very famous Christian song. Imagine. Yeah, you know it. Yep. We've all heard it. So apparently that dude, it's a story about him, and he's like in college, and he meets this woman, and he's like, oh, I love you, we're going to get married. And then she gets like cancer or something, and then dies shortly after. And then he's like, oh no, my faith in Jesus has been rocked. But then he meets another girl, and then he goes back to Christian music and whatever. But the whole moral of the story is like, oh yeah, you have to have faith through, like you have things happen to you and you keep your faith even though bad things happen to you. So it's like, so in this movie posits that the only role his wife had in the universe was to meet this dude and get cancer and die, so his faith can be tested and he can learn that Jesus is great no matter what. So she doesn't matter. Her getting cancer is a plot point for him to realize that Jesus is still good.
Right.
I was like, good Lord, good Christ, these movies. But anyways, why'd we get to that?
Because you were talking about the football movie, the Jesus football movie. Yeah. And how
but
you're
those
going to
dudes,
University
they
of
have
Alabama.
a production company. All their movies, Sean Astin's in half of them for some reason, and all those movies make no money and they review very badly, but Christians love them.
I was looking at very, we're going to wrap this Christian thing up very shortly. I was looking at musicals, like filmed on stage musicals, because my degree is in musical theater and I find them awesome. So there's a whole range of them about Jesus and Bible stories and Noah that are just like the most elaborate like obviously Christianity has so much money. The church, they don't pay taxes, all that stuff. They have so much money. So they are like all fucking balls to the wall production value musicals about Jesus. And they are some of the best freaking things to watch. Maybe just like sip a couple White Claws and just watch these with your friends. Go look it up. It's like Jesus, and they're just like very much like Moses or Noah's Ark or
Jesus and the Apollo.
There's one of them just called Jesus, and it's the fucking best. Even if you just watch the trailers, it is just a good time. It's a good time.
Okay, so the movie we're thinking of, I literally typed in "Falls in the Ice" Christian movie. It's called. It's called Breakthrough. It came out in 2019, and that is the one with the hilarious trailer where the boy falls through the ice and like Jesus saved his life.
I went and saw some movie by myself, and I was in a big crowded theater, and that trailer halfway, I was like, could not control my laughter, and everyone was completely silent, and I was just laughing so hard at that shit.
Wild. But no, AL was actually Apex Legends just because I've only been playing Battle
okay, nice.
So, but everyone enjoy your Christian movie. Again, I'm not against Christianity. Those movies are fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this. They're ridiculous. Anyway, speaking of funny things, we're going to move on to our quest log. This actually isn't funny at all. It seems that PlayStation shouldn't panic about playing Call of Duty.
Oh,
it's from
nice.
Andy Robertson at VGC. He had a breakthrough. Microsoft has claimed it will continue to release Activision Blizzard games such as Call of Duty on PlayStation platforms beyond existing agreements. Activision Blizzard was reportedly committed to releasing at least the next 3 Call of Duty games. We talked about that previously on the show. However, in a new blog published on last Wednesday, addressing Sony's future policies for where it releases its content, President Brad Smith indicated that at least some Activision and Blizzard games would continue to release on PlayStation in the future. This is now a quote from him. First, some commenters have asked whether we will continue to make popular content like Call of Duty available on competing platforms like PlayStation. The obvious concern is that Microsoft could make this title available exclusively on the Xbox, undermining opportunities for PlayStation users. To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the term of any existing agreement with Activision. Of course, you can't break those deals.
Right.
But this is where it gets interesting. And we have committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love. The exec also added that Microsoft is also interested in taking similar steps to support Nintendo's successful platform. We believe this is the right thing for the industry, for gamers, and for our business. So it's worth noting that the statement stopped short of committing to releasing all Activision Blizzard titles for PlayStation. So some may say exclusive. But the main thing we have here is that Microsoft straight up came out and said, we're honoring every deal, and we plan to keep Call of Duty specifically. They name drop Call of Duty will continue to be on PlayStation afterwards. And then they said other popular Activision Blizzard titles. So for all the PlayStation people, you don't need to worry about it. And again, I think we talked about this last week when I was like, is it just like they're buying it to protect their industry from Meta and Amazon and all that? Because Destiny and other Bungie stuff is not exclusive, and then the popular Activision Blizzard games will not be exclusive. So this is just the news that, like, yes, you can continue to play Call of Duty even past the ones that have a deal.
This is, Great news. It is great news for gamers everywhere. I was looking at like what's popular from Activision Blizzard aside from Call of Duty that might warrant like, don't worry, it's still going to be there, and maybe like Overwatch. Diablo.
That was the first one that came to mind, is Overwatch.
Overwatch for sure, and Overwatch 2
Diablo.
whenever that ends up coming. Yeah, Diablo 4 that's in the pipeline, all that kind of stuff. But what was interesting too is that they called out Nintendo, which is like supporting Nintendo's platform, which is something that they have been hit or miss with for Activision Blizzard titles. So that's going to be interesting to see how Call of Duty makes its way to Nintendo. And like in the same sentence, it was like the words Call of Duty and a Nintendo. I was like, oh, interesting. I wonder how you're gonna make that happen through the power of the cloud. Is it gonna be a cloud version? Is it gonna be Xbox Game Pass, or xCloud, whatever it is? But what I'm curious about is do you remember after the acquisition was announced?
Mm-hmm.
Again, we still have like a year and a half before we know if it's even going to go through. But after the acquisition was announced, there was like 2 days later, Phil Spencer said, hey, we just met with Sony, and good news, like we're still going to honor our agreements, and we're going to make this available on PlayStation consoles going forward. Do you think in that meeting, Sony was like, listen, you guys just bought Activision Blizzard. We're going to announce next week that we're buying Bungie. And let's make a deal. We'll make Destiny available on your shit, and anything Bungie makes going forward available on your shit. If you make Call of Duty available, like I wonder if this was not necessarily the plan, but then PlayStation's like, we got a little ace up our sleeve too. Do you want to? We'll tit for tat. We'll scratch your back if you scratch ours. I wonder if that was part of that conversation in there whenever they were talking about whether or not these things are going to be available going forward. Or whether this was like, while Microsoft was making this acquisition, it was like, I don't know, maybe we might make these exclusive. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's possible. I wouldn't be shocked because, again, these deals have been in the making for probably months at this point.
Right.
So, like, it wasn't Nintendo, Xbox didn't learn about the Bungie deal when Phil Spencer called up Sony after they bought Activision. And Sony knew about the Activision deal before it happened, I would assume. So, yeah, maybe there was talk there. And again, also, there was those quotes from Phil Spencer in like 2020 where it was like, hey, we trust Sony, we trust Nintendo, we trust Valve. It's these other guys that we're worried about. So maybe it was always the plan in the meantime. So like when I'm looking back now on Bethesda, like Starfield is exclusive, but Starfield had never been on anything else. That was a brand new game that never set a console. So now I'm kind of curious if Elder Scrolls 6 would be on everything, because again, they didn't pull any ESO content. Like they're not pulling anything that's already out, and that is a game that has been on everything and is a big deal. So maybe that's one that they keep on everything. I mean, it'll be years before we know that answer or not. But I feel like, based on the things, they're like trying to fight off the big tech giants and what all of that. Maybe they did talk about each other, but maybe they're also like, maybe we shouldn't fight each other. Maybe we should worry about keeping our industry safe. So yeah, maybe it was a deal they talked about. Maybe they're on the same page when it comes to, the game industry as a whole. I don't know. It's interesting though.
Yeah. I'm so curious to where Nintendo falls in these talks, if at all. Like PlayStation and Xbox are obviously talking, and I wonder if they're like, "Oh shit, do you think we should tell Nintendo?" Yeah, we should probably go tell Nintendo. I wonder if they're involved in this shit at all.
Call up Miyamoto, and he's just like at his house, like, "Oh hey, how you fellas doing? I hadn't talked to you in about 7 months." It's like, "Hey Miyamoto, gotta just know something." That'd be funny. Do not know. Interesting, but yeah. So you guys don't have to worry about it. It's still coming, and it will continue. So the world's most popular game, again, it's just like with Minecraft, just like Call of Duty, it's going to continue to go everywhere. Speaking of Call of Duty officially announced your new favorite Battle Royale game. Interesting. It's from multiple sources at IGN. This year's Call of Duty release will be a sequel to 2019's Modern Warfare, Activision Blizzard announced. So we heard the rumors. They have officially made it real that, hey, Modern Warfare 2 is the game coming out in 2022. It will be developed in tandem with a new Warzone release that will be designed together from the ground up. So Modern Warfare 2 is coming out this year, and a brand new Warzone game. So all those things we got rumors about and we were talking about in the news before, they just officially like, yeah, this is what's happening. We're absolutely doing it. Call of Duty fans can expect an all-new play space and a new sandbox mode for Warzone 2. Both the Modern Warfare sequel and Warzone will be powered by a new engine. That's very nice.
Yes.
Get that actual next-gen version of Warzone will be fantastic. Development on both games will once again be led by Infinity Ward, which worked on Modern Warfare 2019 and Call of Duty Warzone. Call of Duty 2022 news was released as part of a community update that also includes info for Season 2 of Vanguard and Warzone. Activision Blizzard is promising more than 30 improvements ahead of the next season launch, which will be yesterday for listening to this on audio. So before we go to the second part, got it announced. It's official, new engine. So I'm hoping for, PS5, Xbox Series X, Warzone, full optimization for that. And that's all I want, because I would love to get back into a new Warzone that's loads fast and looks pretty.
Yeah. And I hope they use this as an opportunity to cut and run from the older content. Because if you boot up any Call of Duty game today, whether it's, you boot up Warzone and it's one of several things on the screen. You open the Warzone app and it's like, you could play Warzone, but you could also play Modern Warfare, and you could also play Cold War, but you could also play Vanguard, and you can play multiplayer on this one, or you could play zombies on that one. And that's just from opening the Warzone app. And then you go to Modern Warfare and it's like, hey, do you want to play all 4 of these games in their different modes? And you go to Vanguard and it's the same thing, but they're all downloading. It's a mess. It's a giant mess. And you don't know where does progression carry across. The Battle Pass works for Vanguard and Warzone, but if you level up a gun from Cold War in Warzone, it also counts towards Cold War, but the Battle Pass stuff doesn't count towards Cold War. So it's just a jumbled mess. So hopefully this is an opportunity for them to just say, cool, all of that stuff's in the past. The new supported platform going forward is going to be Warzone 2, Modern Warfare 2, for lack of a better name, although that's probably what they're going to call it. And this is just these are synergized right now. Battle Pass works across them. Progression works across them. And then hopefully they figure out a better way year after these releases than what they currently have.
Yep. Speaking of old Warzone, in a call with influencers, Activision confirmed that fixing Warzone is a top priority for the team after taking the blame for ruining it. I love that this is just an actual tweet. We fucked stuff up. Infinity Ward co-studio head Pat Kelly admitted plainly per Charlie Intel. Game director Josh Bridge added the team is not happy with the current state of Warzone. The studio is determined to fix the issues with the game. Recent updates for Warzone have drawn more criticism than praise after several performance issues and bugs were introduced over time. The rollout of Season 2 for Pacific Warzone was delayed to add additional fixes to launch. All this is to say is that Warzone's stability has declined over time. Infinity Ward is looking to right the ship with the new Warzone experience. So yeah, they're like, let's just start up from ground zero. Let's make this not a big mess, because like you said, the menu is just full of fucking every mode, and it's all over the place. So yeah, they're just like, yo, let's restart. Make it for next gen, and everyone come on over and play the video game and have a good time. I think it's all pluses for me. I just love that he said we fucked up.
Yeah, me too.
Great
a part
quote.
of me, while I was reading that quote, though, I was just like, but do you know what you fucked up? Like when you're having an argument as a couple and you're like, one person says, I'm sorry. And you're like, but what are you sorry for? Do you know what you did wrong? Or are you just saying you're sorry just to end the argument? And so part of me is like, do you know exactly what the issues is and how are you working to address them? Because it just feels like a generic, we're determined to fix the blanket issues with the game. We fucked up. We did some bad stuff. We're not happy with it. Okay, but what are you actually doing? Because
I think it's
we played Caldera Pacific, Warzone Pacific a couple weeks ago, and it's just every time you went to a buy station, you would freeze. And there were multiple times when it's the stability of it, there are invisible guns, there are all sorts of things, bugs crazy in that game right now. So I would love to know, with Warzone 2 apparently coming later this year, are they planning to go back and fix Warzone 1, or are they just cutting and running? I don't know.
My guess is it's oh shit, someone cut the gas line. They're like, you know what? Just get a bandage, wrap that shit up, and that'll get us to the car dealership, and then we'll just get a new car.
Right.
That's my guess.
Yep.
Let's just get to the release of the second one and just leave this one in the state it's in. Because again, that game is 2 years old at this time? It's almost 3 years. It feels like Warzone's been out forever.
It feels like forever, but it came out during the pandemic. It was March 2020, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, it was after the release of that game. So yeah, I think they're just going to be hey, we'll try to make it not suck ass. But then honestly, just play the new one. That's my guess. So we will see. So Resident Evil 4 Remake. Well, look at that turn. Will be scary. Oh, Dios mío. I've broken through the ice. Jesus, come save me. From Darren Bonthwees at GameSpot. And a new report by Fanbyte, more details on the rumored RE4 remake have surfaced. According to the site's sources, Capcom's approach to the unannounced project will deviate from the original game, with some scenes being dramatically changed. Another departure will see a decent portion of the game allegedly take place at night. Ooh, night is scary. Including an early sequence featuring Leon Kennedy fighting off a horde of infected villagers. In another twist, even the tone of RE4 Remake will be altered. The original game was noteworthy for steering the franchise away from survival horror and toward a more action-packed experience. The remake could return to the game's spookier roots. According to Fanbyte, the directions inspired by RE4's original prototype builds, which had a heavy emphasis on horror and supernatural elements. And I think, the way that Remake 2 and 3 worked out, I think they're like, oh, people like, or in 7 and 8, people like spooky shit. Side characters are allegedly also being given a beefier role and more screen time, while Ada Wong's original assignment and Separate Ways content could be retooled to give players a better side story experience. It's likely still be a while before Capcom officially announces or confirms the existence of the remake, but fans of which is arguably but fans of what is arguably considered the best game in the series can still revisit Spain's creepiest tourist destination on various platforms. So whatever. They haven't said anything official, but I believe it was Imran Khan at Fanbyte was like, yo, I heard a bunch of stuff from people and I put together a report. They're trying to make it scary. Honestly, I'm going to let you get to in a second. I think 7 being scary as shit, 8 being scary. They're like, let's go back to scary, because I loved 5 personally, but people did not like 6. And they were like, yo, let's make action movies. And people were like, these games suck. They're like, you know what? Let's go to the horror stuff. And the horror stuff has been working for them. So if they're going to do a remake, I guess keep it up.
Yeah, I love that the newest games especially have been more horror focused, but not necessarily survival focused. I think that's where the series loses me, is whenever it gets too much of like, I have 3 bullets and there are 19 enemies on the screen right now, and I'm so stressed out because my last save point I'd saved, and I only have like a green herb, and I'm fucked, and there's no way I can get past this because, if I'd have to restart a save point from 5 hours ago if I want to go back and do this differently. Like, that's where survival games lose me. But the fact that it's just more of a horror take, and maybe you do have a little bit more ammo, or you can play it on easier difficulty and find, herbs more frequently. Like, that's what intrigues me. So I'm very interested in this. I loved Resident Evil 4 when it first came out. Sorry, not when it first came out. I played it on the Wii when it was the first time I experienced it. So quite a bit after it came out. But we played it again for Barf, and it was just like, oh, this is a dated game. Oh man, this is bad. And I'm hoping, it sounds like they know what's going on and they know what people like and don't like about it. I'm hoping that the like half of the game, which is an escort mission, is going to be completely retooled, so you don't have to worry about Ashley and just hiding her in dumpsters and all the time and getting her captured by freaking dudes in robes. So yeah, I'm excited for this, whatever it might be. I still think it's weird though that we're like, there's the RE4 HD version of the game. There's like a fan-made HD port of the game too that was just released. There was the RE4 retooled completely for VR, and now there's going to be the like completely remade game. Like that's a little confusing. Like that there are so many different parts of this same property that are out. It's like, which one do I play? If I get a VR headset, I certainly want to play this in VR, but right now it's just on the Oculus Quest 2. But like, yeah, I'd love to experience this in VR, but then I don't want to have to play through the whole thing again, slightly reimagined for, I don't know. It's just weird to me that there's so many different variations of the same game.
I mean, it's popular, so.
Yeah.
But I mean, just wait for remake, right? Like, there are multiple versions of RE2, but remake is clearly the way to play that game. So I don't think anyone would argue that there's a better version of RE2.
Yeah.
So that's probably where it's coming from. But I just like, and it makes me no difference because I don't like to be scared super a lot, but I like how RE is basically completely revitalized itself. They're like, all right, we're going to do first person spooky, then we're going to remake everyone's favorite, and then we're going to make it spooky where you walk around and werewolves, and everything's worked out for them. So I'm sure RE4 will do just fine. Speaking of things doing just fine, a new Assassin's Creed spinoff may be on the way.
Ooh.
Step. From Tom Ivan at VGC. Ubisoft is reportedly planning to release a smaller scale.
Did you
Thank
say
God.
Ubisoft?
Ubisoft, yeah. My mouth is extremely dry. I try not to drink water while I'm on camera, but holy shit, my mouth is so fucking dry. You have no idea. I just drank a ginger ale thinking it would help. Not at all. Ubisoft is reportedly planning to release a small-scale, stealth-focused Assassin's Creed game later this year or in 2023. codenamed Rift, and starring Assassin's Creed Valhalla's character Basim. Or it's Basim. The title originally planned as an expansion for the most recent series entry before being spun into a standalone game last year, from Bloomberg reports. It will reportedly focus on stealth gameplay and be smaller in scope than the recent franchise entries, meaning it won't be an large open world RPG. Assassin's Creed Rift will probably be released before the officially announced Assassin's Creed Affinity, which was officially announced. I forgot that game was officially announced. Yeah. So they're taking a character, Basim, which is he's an assassin in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and they're making a spin-off, stealth-focused, smaller game, which I think is good because I love Assassin's Creed. Those games are huge.
Yeah.
That's people's number one complaint is like the game's too big, so making a smaller stealth one, I think, is a good idea.
Yep. This is the most interested I've been in an Assassin's Creed game in a very long time. Even though it's just like literally a rumor that it might happen. So the large open worlds, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger, and I don't want to devote 140 hours to a game to even still not beat it. Like, that sounds not interesting to me. So the fact that this is going to be smaller in scope, maybe even if like it won't be large open world, does that mean that like it might be a lot more linear too? Like, that could be cool for me. I'd be excited about that too. What does give me pause, however, is that in the Bloomberg article, it seems to imply that this was going to be an expansion, and then they were like, we need something to help us make money before Assassin's Creed Infinity is ready, so can we just spin this off into its own game instead and charge more money for it? That's kind of what it seemed like the implication was from the article, and that gives me pause. It's like, hey, let's take something that wasn't going to be a full-fledged game and maybe just charge a lot of money for it. So I'm not super excited if that's the case, but there have been versions of that have proved me wrong in the past, like Uncharted Lost Legacy, which was going to be an Uncharted 4 game expansion that they're just like, no, this is its own thing. Sorry, like that turned out to be one of the best Uncharted games that exists. So I could be wrong, but this is exciting me. Yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, especially the stealth. Again, you can do stealth, but if they were like pushing you more. So basically in the new series, it's a lot of, not really Souls-like, it's kind of Soul, it's action RPG or like lock-on parries and all that kind of stuff. And you could do stealth, but it's like I can also just run in here and just like Dark Souls and backstab and beat the shit out of everybody as well. So then, because Basim is an assassin, it would make sense to do one more stealth one. Maybe when it talk about smaller, not open world, maybe it's like, oh, here's like 3 areas that he goes to, and you just have like 3 maps that aren't a whole open world, but it's like, here's 3 like big areas you can dick around in. It sounds cool to me. Yeah, maybe it was just supposed to be something they wanted you to pay for as part of a season pass, but I'll be cool with it. So I did play all the DLC in, which one was the Greek one, Odyssey, and there was 3 pieces of DLC that were completely different areas, completely different weapons and gear, and had different mechanics. So I'm like, honestly, you could have done that as a spin-off game, and I think it still would have been good. So I'll trust them, I guess. Like you said, it could be bad, it could be good. I kind of trust them, I guess. But maybe it is just a money thing. But I'm interested, regardless, to play a smaller scale Assassin's Creed game sometime in the future. We will see. It'll be interesting where we go with the story, because there's things with Basim that are very interesting.
I never got far enough in that game to meet Basim, so...
There is some wild shit with Basim. We'll see what happens. But last story for the day, Wolf Among Us 2. Official announcement. Wait a minute. Got to do the story with the glasses on. Everyone, this is why you need to watch the video version. The Wolf Man. Ow! It's cool cat. You're muted. Wait, no, you're not. I can hear you now. Wolf Among Us 2 details have been released from Joe Scribbles at IGN.com. Announced during today's Wolf of Wall Street, Wolf Among Us 2 news stream, Telltale is developing the entire 5-episode season simultaneously and will release it with a tighter cadence than the original game.
Dope.
Exact timings weren't giving, but we know it will release for every console except for Switch in 2023. The original incarnation of Telltale developed many of its episodic games chapter by chapter, occasionally leading to long delays when development problems arose. Wolf Among Us 2 developed by a brand new team under the Telltale name, won't be following suit. The stream today also included a first gameplay trailer and news story detail, which I did watch. It was very cool. The game looks, oh my god, it actually looks good and isn't stuttery. It looks like shit. The game set 6 months after the first will see anti-hero Bigby Wolf suspended in an anger management counseling. Snow White will now be deputy mayor of the game's Fabletown settings. So, very excited. Wolf Among Us was one of my favorite Telltale series. It was super good. I love seeing a new engine and the game. Again, I love those games, but boy, they did not run well. It looks great. They're going back to that weird, like, grim fairy tale setting, and I'm very excited for Wolf Among Us too. It'll be nice to see it in 2023, but I also like that, like, hey, we're gonna finish the game and then just release it on a schedule.
Yeah,
I don't think episodic things really work anymore. Like, I just kind of want to wait to the end and play them all at the same time, but if it's good enough, I'll put up with it and deal with it. So
yeah, I didn't play the original Wolf Among Us, but I played a lot of Telltale things, and I'm with you that, like, I'm excited for the new engine. I'm excited for the new release thing. That was the thing that was off-putting about a lot of Telltale games, is that you get roped into episode 1. Episode 2 usually follows pretty closely after, and then you're just like, we don't know when episode 3 is coming. And then,
maybe
like,
2 months, maybe 7.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're just like, by the time that new episode drops, you're like, what was I doing again? Do I care about my choices that I made? Do I remember my choices that I made? I don't know. And so you completely lose interest by the end of the series. So that, it's a lot more interesting to me, a lot more enticing to me to see that they're developing the whole game first and then just saying, we're going to release it staggered, but it's done. But that's also weird to me that they're doing, I hope they say a tighter cadence. I hope that means that, like, maybe it's once every week or once every other week a new episode drops.
Yeah. Someone can fact check me, but I believe Life is Strange did that. I think season 2 was, they released every episode like once a week. Like, the game was done, but they still did the weekly schedule thing.
Yeah.
But I believe that game was all done at once, and they're just like, all right, release them like this now. But then you saw with True Colors, they just did it all at once.
Yep.
So, very interesting. I'm very excited. Bigby Wolf, man. Let me tell you, I love this game. It's very good. So again, it's grimdark fairy tale stuff, and you're the big bad wolf from all. Literally, it's the same big bad wolf from every story that has Big Bad Wolf in it. So it's like Little Red Riding Hood, and then God, there's another one where you like fight the lumberjack. Well, I guess that's Little Red Riding Hood, but then the Three Pigs. It's also the same wolf. He's always the same wolf, and I always did super evil guy. I was like, I'm the fucking big bad wolf. Why am I trying to be people's friends? I'm here to fuck shit up. And yeah, I just would fuck. I'm like, are you giving me shit right now? You know who I am? Like, oh, come on, dude. I'm like, I'm gonna rip your arm off. Like, I'm not wasting time with you. Fucking get out of my way. I loved it. It was great. Really, and I'm supposed to be a cop, so whatever. But anyways, there we go. Wolf Among Us 2. Everyone get excited. What's next, Chad?
Segment from Adam. Adam does a segment. It goes here. There's a spot in the show. It's reserved for this. It's called Adam's segment.
That was almost as good as one of those Christian Broadway plays. You should have
so close. I got inspired. We started talking about Jesus earlier, and I got inspired.
You could be Pilate. What is his name? Pontius Pilate? The guy who killed Jesus?
What?
He was like the Roman general. What's his name? There's a Roman general who like captured Jesus. I think it's Pontius Pilate.
I thought at first we were talking about like Sully, the pilot who landed the plane.
Who's the man who captured Jesus?
And then I was like, wait, Tom Hanks has Sully killed Jesus? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, it's Pilate. That's his name.
Oh, okay.
It's Pontius Pilate, the man who captured Jesus and had him executed. So maybe there's a Broadway play called Jesus ! Where you can play Pontius Pilate and you're like, Jesus, I'm here to get you and take you away. I don't know. I'm having a fun time with this Christian stuff. All right, so my segment is not about Jesus. Shocking. It's actually about the Super Bowl.
Ooh,
so
nice.
I went and did some research. I'm like, yo, there's a big game of football today.
Nice.
And besides playing, a big sports game, Super Bowl commercials, big deal. Everyone's like, oh man, it costs $18 million for 30 seconds in the Super Bowl because 100 million people watch. So I was like, hey, have there been video game Super Bowl ads? And you'll be surprised that there have been a good amount. So I have a list of all of the most important and interesting ones. And you're going to tell me if you remember them and if they were good. So starting number 1, I do have links if you need to remind yourself, just for chat. Number 1, God of War Ascension got a Super Bowl commercial in 2013.
Oh, I don't remember that one, but I'm gonna click on it right meow.
Gonna just open. You don't necessarily have to. You can watch it if you want to, but you can just scroll down a little bit. Yeah. It's called From the Ashes, and it was based on the last game that came out on the PS3, the worst God of War game, had a trailer at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I guess you could say it was the worst God of War game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only one I didn't play. So you're right. I guess I couldn't.
Wait, was this live action?
Yep, live action style with special effects.
Oh my gosh. Oh, what? I do remember this. I do. Yeah, this is not good.
They tried, though. They spent so much money. And,
yeah,
it seems weird that this is the one that got a Super Bowl commercial. Like, I would have thought God of War 3, like at the height, like, oh man, this is the PS3 one. This is going to be a big deal. Nope. They wanted it for Ascension. Whatever, I suppose. Next up, God, this is great. This is scroll down a little bit. So, in 2017, there were 2 fake commercials. These were both for World of Tanks, and they gave us a commercial where it was like one of those reality shows where like they buy little houses or whatever. And then there was also one where it's like they make fun of a reality show of like Real Housewives, like, oh, we're rich women complaining, and they just ended up being World of Tanks ads.
Yeah, I just watched this one where it's like, yeah, look at this little tiny house, and then a giant fucking tank just drives over it and demolishes it. Fucking love it.
Those are really good. I'm like, okay, I love those commercials where it's like a weird fake out. I'm like, that's because you know 15 seconds of like, oh, a free to play the tank, like that doesn't, who cares, no one remembers that. But if you have a fake reality show and then a tank shows up, everyone will remember that. So I thought that one was really solid. Next one was pretty good. So Nintendo Wii U was a big failure. It was really, really bad. But in the Super Bowl, about a month before the Switch came out, we got a Switch launch trailer at the Super Bowl, which, again, a big spot to put it, and the Switch has done very good. Is it because of the Super Bowl? Perhaps.
It's exactly because of the Super Bowl. I just watched that one again. It was basically a Breath of the Wild trailer, but also advertising it. The Switch obviously wasn't out yet for another couple of weeks, but like the guy starts out playing it in bed, and then he gets up, docks it, boom, it's on the TV, and it's all set to Believer by Imagine Dragons, which, by the way, I don't understand when we as a society turned a corner on Imagine Dragons. Like, they make some dope music.
I've never turned the corner. I'm still here.
Like, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Imagine Dragons. The radioactive commercial for BioShock Infinite. Oh God, yeah, that still gets my gooch. Yeah, this is, to be able to see this. The Switch was very much still like, oh my God, I can't believe that's exactly what I want from a console. I hold it in my hands, put it on the TV, crazy. Like, this was a good commercial for that. And this was back before we knew Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was going to be boring. So like, even more hype.
People were so excited. Now, the only thing I'm disappointed in is that this didn't have Rooftop. Was her name Rooftop Karen or whatever? Oh, going with the girl who brought her Switch to the rooftop party. I wish she would have showed up. That'd have been great.
She was not present.
Still one of my favorite commercial people. And the last of this list that we're looking at, maybe Sony should stop doing Super Bowl commercials because every one of them have not been good. I don't know what year. It doesn't say it on here.
Or they put their strategy. Sorry. Announce the game, and then I'll say this later.
Okay. Then Sony also did one for the Order 1886. Had a Super Bowl commercial. It looked very pretty. It looked very good. But we all remember what happened to Order 1886. It had a dick, and then no one cared about the game.
It had a dick. It did. There was werewolf penis galore in that game. Yeah, it seems like the games that they know are not gonna do well, they say, hey, let's market this to everyone who's not in the know and doesn't know that these games are not going to do well, and let's make them buy it. because yeah, it's Order 1886 and God of War Ascension. So like only the first party games that I feel like that need the advertising. Like God of War 3 was huge. Everyone knows about God of War 3. You don't need the advertising bucks behind it. So like, yeah, the lesser known ones. And to be honest, like the 1886 trailer, just like that game, looks awesome. It looks beautiful and stunning. It's just not a good game.
Yeah. Next up on our list, we have, again, you can click on that next little link I gave you there, Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind. Whoever fucking thought, and again, this was a CG trailer, so it's just like fantasy dudes. I think he like fights with the bear in that one. But it's like Elder Scrolls Online had a Super Bowl commercial. Like, fucking, what a wild thing. Again, it's just like an expansion for, an MMO that people play or whatever. But what a weird place to have an MMO expansion pack fucking trailer. But I mean, the trailer looks cool. So,
do not sell my info. God, what a
good
world!
Lord, here we go.
Today. Although
my next one,
those little pop-ups that are like accept the cookies, or like or
you have to
do everything else here. If you live in the state of California, there's just accept cookies and then just one button that says do not sell my info. And you just have to click that, and it's like it automatically rejects everything. Nice,
I like that. This next one is actually my favorite video game Super Bowl commercial of all time. It is for Clash of Clans. It is the commercial is called Revenge, and it's Liam Neeson in the height of Taken. It's like Taken 2 and 3 were come out or something at this point, and it's just Liam Neeson playing his game and talking, like doing the Taken, like, I'm here to play Clash of Clans and I have very specific set. I'm actually gonna watch it because it's right here. Let's skip to the part where he actually talks.
Yeah, it starts out with Clash of Clans, like dun 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 dun, all this action happening, and then it's just Liam Neeson staring at his phone.
I don't know you, big buffet boy 89, but I will get you. I will clear revenge. It's just Liam Neeson doing Taken about a video game that he's playing on his phone. It is fucking great. That might be my favorite one. Next on our list is Pokemon 20.
Mercy, but you will get no mercy.
It's great. It's so good. Our next one was Pokemon 20, which I believe was just like a celebration of 20 years of Pokemon. It was, I believe, right before Pokemon Go came out. But it was just like a celebration of everything Pokemon.
Oh yeah, that was a dope commercial.
It was a really good commercial. I liked it a lot. So that was, I think it was right before Pokemon Go. So got everyone excited for that one.
God, how fucking cool was the Pokemon Go commercial? How freaking cool was that? And everyone's like in Times Square, and there's a Mewtwo up on the freaking LEDs. God, I remember watching that one before it came out. I was like,
no, this is not that. Like in a stadium.
Yeah. But I remember watching that and be like, that's real? That's an app that's coming next year? Oh my God.
It was pretty great. And then our last one. This one is bonkers. And I did not realize this was a Super Bowl ad. I remember this being an ad. I didn't remember it being a Super Bowl ad. So if you want to click on that actual link, this was at the height of PlayStation 2. Like PlayStation 2 was like by and far, the number one console. You didn't even think they really need to advertise at the Super Bowl for anything because they were already the number one.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 2001, PlayStation put out a commercial. Again, PlayStation 2 was already released and everyone already loved it. And they put out a commercial for the PlayStation 9. And this is the classic fucking the dude holding up the sphere and it has PS9 on it and it opens up. And it's basically The Matrix because it's 2001. But like Sony, The Matrix. And I remember this being a commercial. I remember it's still a joke. People are like, oh, when PS9 comes out, it better be a sphere, whatever. But like, in what world in 2001 do you need to make a fake commercial for PlayStation 9? I don't know, but thank you, Sony, because that's some meme shit, and I'm here for it. Yeah. Like, what a wild... Well, was this like a minute? This is a minute-long commercial about a not real gaming console.
I hope that when we get to the PS9 generation that they like literally just reuse this commercial.
Mm-hmm. Don't even put it in HD. No. Just keep it in the
exactly,
the 480p or whatever it's in. God. But yeah, that's the history of some video game commercials at the Super Bowl. They're really fun. They're really great. And except for those PlayStation game ones, they've been very bad.
Very good. I remember one of the ones I remember like most clearly in my mind's eye is the Assassin's Creed one, like the very first Assassin's Creed. And seeing that trailer at the Super Bowl, I was like, oh my God, that game
I don't think I remember that one.
Freaking cool. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's good shit. It is time for a Game On Game Show. The Game On Game Show to play a game called Game On, the game show on our gaming show. Game. We are also making this about the Super Bowl. Sports related.
Super Bowl special.
This is called, Hey, you got your sports in my video game. So I wanted to make this one just kind of short, a little bit of fun stuff. So it probably is only going to take us a couple minutes to talk through these. But we have the Super Bowl. Sports games are part of like some of the biggest shit. But also sports crossing over with other IPs. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Mario Strikers Charged. It's mostly just Mario and different sports. But I want to take that same idea and make traditional sports games with other IPs and kind of brainstorm what that might look like.
All right.
So kind of think, now flesh it out and I flesh it out. But instead of taking two games and mashing them up, we're taking a sport and a game. The sport is TBD. Right. We get to come up with, like, I'll name the game or the IP, and we have to figure out what sport do we want to see mashed up with that and what might that look like.
Think about what Chambra could possibly link into.
How can we work Chambra into all of these IP? So I have 3 of them. The first one, 2019's Game of the Year from Remedy. It's Control. What does Control look like if we put some kind of... First of all, what sport do we want to mash up with Control? And then how do we play that game? What does it look like?
Well, I immediately go to... Everyone's got telekinetic powers, right? Like, isn't that... the best part of that game is flying around and like throwing stuff around and picking stuff?
Throwing shit. Taking over other people's bodies and making them fight for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Quidditch.
No.
Not a real sport.
Oh shit! Yeah, if you could just
Jesse's basically a wizard.
Yeah. So your telekinesis works on the not the bludgers, but the quaffles. The quaffles, which are the red balls that score points. There are 2 of those. So your telekinesis is just you like sucking those up, spitting them out, and then people also have telekinetic powers to try to stop them at the goalpost. But it doesn't work on the snitch, obviously, because the snitch has to be the thing that like you have to go and get that. But in Control, there are those giant black things that are going around like, and they're invulnerable, and you just have to run away from them. Those are the bludgers. Like, of course, like those are the thing. And again, your telekinesis does not work on those. You just have to avoid them. What a good thing you've chosen, Adam. Quidditch and Control.
So I know, of course, Quidditch is a made-up sport in a made-up story.
There are a lot of people who play it in real
actually play Quidditch. Yeah, people actually play Quidditch, right? Like, how do they just run around with the same balls and hoops?
That is a large part of it. They've obviously adapted it for real life play, but yeah, everyone's running around. They still have a broomstick in between their legs, but yeah, you have a quaffle that you throw. Yep, you have a quaffle that you throw. There are people who I think there are people who like their job is offense with the bludgers, like they chuck bludgers at you. And then I don't think it's this way, but I can't explain it. I can't think of any other way to explain it. But like maybe there's a greased pig. That's the snitch.
Yeah. That's the snitch.
It's just running.
Maybe it's a bird. You gotta go catch a bird.
It's a bird. God, if that bird gets anywhere close to me, though, I'm gonna hit it with a fucking electric tennis racket. That's great. Are there guns?
I could not think of a sport with guns besides like shooting, of course. Yeah, but you don't need telekinetic powers for that. That's just a gun.
Yep. Good one. Okay, next one. Devil May Cry. So Devil May Cry, stylish, lots of combos. You got swords, a demon hand,
big fancy boys jumping around and stuff. What is a sport where you could be? Oh, you know what? Oh my God, this is perfect and deadly. So there was a show that was on Fox, I believe, last year. It featured the Watt brothers who play professional football. So J.J. Watt, Derek Watt, T.J. Watt, and the game was they got super good like parkour athletes, so like extremely athletic, extremely fast, move around quick, and you would have normal people, and they played fucking tag. That's what it was. You played tag. They had to build a giant obstacle course, and you would run away from the dudes, and they would try to tag you, and they do parkour, and you were just a normal idiot sliding under stuff and trying to get away from and not be tagged. So same idea. TJ Watt, Derek Watt, JJ Watt host and you just have to run away. But if the demons get you, they stab you. So it's just people playing tag, but the people chasing them are the characters from Devil May Cry.
I like that. I like that. It's just like supernatural tag.
Supernatural tag.
I want to add in like part of Devil May Cry in that like stylish shooter, stylish action game is like maintaining a combo as well. I want you to also have like a Nerf gun or something like that, or maybe laser tag or something like that, where if you're not tagging someone, you at least have to be shooting someone every 10 seconds to keep your combo meter up. And if you miss, then like you get some kind of penalty and like you have to run slower or something like that.
Gotcha. That's how you get. And if you get juggled, it's fucking over.
Yeah.
If someone air juggles you, you're done.
Yep.
Great. I love it.
All right, last one. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
How do we turn that into some kind of sport?
That's too easy. Well, the first thing that came to mind is just rodeo. So you have to get on top of an animal and ride an animal for as many seconds as you can, except for it'll be a random robot dinosaur. So it's like, all right, here we have 19-year-old John Johnson. That's his second time riding at a professional event. And then a Thunderjaw comes out. It's like, all right, kid, go for it. And he just gets destroyed by the fucking gigantic monster.
So kind of like a rodeo / gladiator. And you have to fight a giant fucking...
No, it's just rodeo. No, you're not killing them. You're just riding them. That is the entire point, to see how long you can ride the robot dinosaur. Absolutely.
I kind of think what would also be cool is if there's like a Wipeout or Ninja Warrior, something like that, where it's like this elaborate obstacle course, but it's all on a giant robot dinosaur, and you have to like get to the top of it and hack it to turn it like the long
kind of
necks
like the long necks.
Yeah. So it's some kind of like absurd obstacle course running up this giant mechanical beast in order to take it over.
I like that too. But it has to be Wipeout, because Ninja Warrior is too serious. Wipeout's ridiculous. So like you're climbing up a long neck, and then just like a big fist punching, like a big boxing glove comes out of its back and knocks you like 100 feet into the water.
Yes.
Great.
Love it.
Love it. That's great.
Perfect. That's it for Game On Game Show, and that is it for episode 245 of Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast. Go watch the Super Bowl, everybody. See some cool commercials, see some cool performances, see some cool running and ball tossing. That is not a euphemism. Those are things that are actually going to happen in this game. But while you're doing it, maybe get out your phone and go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire. And go there, become a patron, vote on our BARF for the next month. Speaking of BARF, Backlog Accomplishment with Respawn and Friends, we're all playing Quantum Break this month. So if you would like to play along with us, you can get it free on Game Pass. You can pay money for it also on Xbox or computer. So go get that game. Write in your thoughts. We'll be reviewing that probably the first week of March. So send us your thoughts either via email or Twitter DM or something like that before then. And in the next, I guess, upcoming this week is time for us to put out another poll. So those of you who are patrons, you get to vote on what we play next for March. And then everyone can play along. Go do that. Last week, no one's taken us up on this yet, but we're 100% serious. Guerrilla Market our show to your friends or family or strangers. So
strangers be best.
Strangers, if you're in line at Walgreens, just take out your phone, record a little video. Don't tell anyone that you're recording the video. And I want you to just at the cashier, and they say, "Do you want to donate $2 to St. Jude's Children's Hospital?" And you say, "No, I don't. But if I actually gave my $2 this month to Respawn Aim Fire on patreon.com/Respawn Aim Fire, so I don't have any money for the children at the hospital. Have you heard of Respawn Aim Fire?" And they're like, "I'm sorry, what did you say? What is that?" You say Respawn Aim Fire. And it's this really funny gaming podcast. They do a lot of fun goofs, and they wear sunglasses. If you watch,
Jesus.
You watch it. And they talk a lot about Jesus and Christian movies on the show too. It's a very good time. It's a good spin on video game news, and they talk about what they played this week, which is a lot of Fortnite. I think you would really love it. I enjoy it every single week. I'm a weekly listener, and I often participate in the polls that they put out on patreon.com/respawning. So just do that, and then send us the recording of the video. Maybe blur out their face if you're savvy enough, so that we don't
Like you legally have to.
Yeah. So send that do that, or just like have that person say, hey, I was turned on to you via guerrilla marketing from so-and-so, and just have them tweet that at us. Whatever, some kind of way to just let us know that you guerrilla marketed our show. Or maybe you're having dinner one night with your fiance and you're just like, hey, you know, it would be really great with this wonderful, half chicken that you just created with broccoli and mashed potatoes. I heard there's a really great podcast called Responding Fire. Maybe we can put that on instead of this Kenny G that we're listening to on Valentine's Day. So just find some way to guerrilla market our podcast. And in return, we will guerrilla market whatever you want on our show. So, like, this may or may not have been the case. Maybe some Christian person who makes a lot of movies and musicals guerrilla marketed our show, and then in return we just talked about their stuff a lot today and how great it is and how you should go watch all of it. That could have been you. That could have been us marketing your podcast. That could have been us marketing your website or your Twitter feed. I just lowered my chair, scared the crap out of me. So go and do it. Just find some way to let us know that you guerrilla marketed our show to someone else, and we will guerrilla market whatever you want in return. That's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Until that's it for our show. Thank you for listening. We will see you all next. Adam will see you all next week with a special guest because I'll be out of town for my birthday, which is coming up on February 17th. That's so weird. Mm-hmm. So weird that I brought that up. It's not even relevant. I don't even know why I brought it up. That's so weird. But yeah, until next time, here's our usual sign off. Dear Jesus Christ, my son is in your hands. True story. Okay, well, and this is our usual sign off. True story. When Dale Earnhardt was in that wreck. Back, it was like the weekend right before my birthday. I'm not a NASCAR fan, but my family is. They are hardcore NASCAR fans, and he was in the wreck, and it was unsure whether or not he was going to survive. And I ran upstairs, and I started crying, and I prayed for the first time, and I said, "Dear God, if you let Dale Earnhardt live, I swear I will watch every race from here to the rest of my life." That is a true story. And Dale Earnhardt did not live. Rest in peace.